Baraka, the proud and vicious Tarkatan warrior, is a versatile character on both offense and defense. Baraka comes to the fight sporting his blade spark fireballs, advancing normals such as forward 4 and forward 2, and quite a lot of range and safety in his moveset. Baraka boasts some of the biggest damage in the Mortal Kombat 11 combo business thanks to his extension Gutted in his first tournament variation. Pairing this with his plethora of crushing blows make him capable of extreme swings of momentum in a match. He also has a standing advancing overhead and an above average down 2 to control airspace. Baraka can struggle to get in against zoners at times, but once he does, it's really going to hurt. Baraka is recommended to players of all skill levels who enjoy a balanced, Shoto-esque playstyle of having a fireball, solid normals, and high explosive damage potential. Cassie Cage, the daughter of Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade, returns from MKX, this time sporting some new toys. Her drone and twin pistols offer Cassie much in the ways of zoning her opponents. Her low gunshot, as it's often called, actually hits mid, but low profiles most enemy projectiles, allowing her to safely go under projectiles and win zone wars with nearly every other character on the roster. Her normals are quick, and several of her strings can catch an unstudied opponent off guard. Once an opponent does know how to defend Cassie's strings properly, this allows Cassie to enforce quite effective stagger pressure when her opponent does get to her, or if she ever gets tired of peppering her opponents with bullets. Cassie is recommended for players who want a well-rounded character who can outzone opponents while still retaining strong offensive capabilities. Cetrion is a newcomer elder god brought forth in Mortal Kombat 11. Harnessing the powers of nature, Cetrion is a premier zoner, having access to powerful, full-screen and mid-screen tools to bully her opponent and rack up damage without putting herself in harm's way. She's no pushover when she's close to an opponent either, having a host of strong strings to push her opponent back and get them to a safe, respectable distance once more. She also has a teleport, and once the opponent does get in, she can start them back to square one at the cost of 2 defensive bars. Cetrion can struggle to deal with oppressive Rushdown or characters with a high amount of mobility. Overall, Cetrion is perfect for players who want a heavily rewarding zone-heavy character with an emphasis on defense and lockdown. D'Vorah, the Kaiten Lord of the Flies, makes her return from Mortal Kombat X. D'Vorah is difficult to approach as she has far-reaching normals and the potential to create an obstacle course of insects for her opponent to maneuver through. Many of her insects assist D'Vorah in screen control, often staying active long after they are initially placed. This allows D'Vorah to set up pressure other characters are simply not capable of. D'Vorah can struggle to set up her Circus Carnival minefield as she must find herself in an advantageous position to do so. However, not to worry, a single confirm or throw can often provide D'Vorah with the space and time to get her game plan started. D'Vorah is recommended to players who enjoy trap setups, frustrating their opponents, and powerful unorthodox pressure. Erron Black, the mysterious bounty hunter of Outworld, is a commanding presence in Mortal Kombat 11, boasting strong staggers with a great deal of safety, advancing mids, projectiles, and strong damage potential. Erron Black is well-rounded and open-ended, allowing a various amount of freedom in playstyle. Opponents must be vigilant when defending against the ever-present overhead in his back 2 string and his forward 4. With the acid drop that Erron retains in each variation, opponents must also watch their positioning or potentially outright die in setup scenarios, or if they find themselves cornered. Erron Black is recommended for players who want strong neutral with an emphasis on rushdown and the ability to bully the opponent into rock in a hard place-like scenarios. Frost. The newly cybernetic Lin Kuei practitioner makes her long return from Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance with an all-new redesign. Boasting one of the strongest anti-air options in her down 3 and a large threat range with her ice-enhanced armaments, Frost dissuades her opponent's approach from both the ground and the air. Having access to several combo extensions depending on her variation, Frost can get considerable damage from her large hitboxes, as well as pester opponents with multiple projectile options. She can get in on opponents in certain variations with her dive bomb special as well. It's also worth mentioning that her full-screen fatal blow, though high, can dictate the pace of the match in the later stages of a round. Frost is highly recommended to players who want strong defensive options with an emphasis on footsies and space control. Fujin, the Elder God of Wind, has made his return all the way back from MK4 with a wicked sick redesign. Fujin has some of the flashiest combos in all of Mortal Kombat 11, with somewhat of an execution barrier to match, regardless of variation. Fujin has access to incredible mobility, evasive, far-reaching normals, disjointed sword hitboxes, and a stellar projectile game. Able to apply pressure from nearly every range and maneuver the skies with ease will make anyone feel the power of the Wind God, especially with the amount of his move list that causes pushback. Fujin can struggle with converting off of stray anti-air hits if his opponent jumps during his pressure, but he still gets a knockdown and a chance to set up Okizeme, even if his conversions sometimes suffer. Fujin is recommended for players who enjoy a neutral dominating character with an emphasis on movement and evasion, or for players who want to add a wow factor to every combo. Geras, the Lord of Time. A newcomer to Mortal Kombat 11, Geras is a neutral bully character with access to a time stop for combo extension, a full screen low special, and high damage potential. While his walk speed is below average, he more than makes up for this with advancing normals and his infamous full screen sand trap that he can utilize to create high-low 50-50s, to catch an opponent off guard with several stagger strings, or to check an opponent's shins anywhere on the grounded fight line. Geras also boasts the best down jab in the game, coming in at a blistering 6 frames, and with its range, it allows Geras to challenge pressure other characters just have to hold, allowing this master of sand and time to enforce his offense every time an opponent overextends. Geras is recommended to players who want a versatile and strong, well-rounded character with powerful tools for every range. Jacqui Briggs, daughter of Jax and returning from MKX, is spoken of as one of the strongest characters in Mortal Kombat 11's current state. She excels at Rushdown, having access to very powerful pressure strings and second to none mobility in her upgraded variation. On top of this, her damage is substantial, and with anti-airs being difficult to master in Mortal Kombat 11, this allows Jacqui to oppress her opponents from any and all angles. Her toolkit, regardless of variation, is potent as she has a standing overhead, fast mids, and a safe high dash punch that allows her to get in from just over half screen. She doesn't lack in any department which leads many high-level players to commonly place her in the top 5 characters of tier lists. Jacqui is recommended for players who enjoy a safe, oppressive Rushdown style character with an emphasis on mobility. Jade, the Emerald Staff Protector, is back from Mortal Kombat 9. Jade excels in neutral with her long pole range and dancer-like limbs. Every poke helps set up Jade's next move when she's on the offensive. She can also utilize her long-ranged glaives to counter-zone her opponents, while she activates the purple mist to render herself completely immune to her opponent's projectiles, though this stance does end when she's struck by the opponent. Jade can struggle against characters with teleports, where she is more forced to stay defensive and play a more patient, methodical game. Jade's Nitro Kick special breaks armor and reaches far. She can also gain a pole vault in a variation, which enables Jade to make certain strings safer. Her down 4 low poke is exceptionally strong, as even with the pushback, Jade can follow up with many attacks to continue her advantage. Jade is recommended for players looking for a dominant space control character with an emphasis on counter zoning. Jax Briggs, the military veteran, like myself, is back from MKX, but with some really cool new mechanics. Whenever Jax hits his opponents with his fists, they heat up and increase his damage and unlock crushing blows. This incentivizes Jax to get in, stay in, and mix up with staggers and different offensive options, and damn is he good at it. He's got a standing overhead, a low starter, and a command grab accessible in a single variation. Jax can inflict small, unbreakable chunks of damage with his gotcha grab, which conveniently heats his hands up to build a mounting pressure of crushing blows on the back of an opponent's mind. Jax also has access to a grenade launcher and very good projectiles while his hands are heated, though it does cost him heat to use them. Jax has fast, decent range normals like his forward 3 to enforce pressure with, and his fatal blow is one of the strongest in the game, hitting high but almost from full screen and fully heats his hands, so it's always a threat in the later ends of rounds. Jax is perfect for players who enjoy mix-ups, rushdown, or grapplers, and rewards a creative player who rotates through their options to open their opponent's defense. Johnny Cage, the cocky actor stuntman, is amazing. This man does it all. Zone? He's got you. Rushdown? He's got you. Staggers? He's got you. Safe moves? He's got you. Big damage? He's got you. And fatal blow cancel? Oh yeah, he's got you. Seriously, Johnny Cage is sick in Mortal Kombat 11, and he is great for learning the game as he grows stronger with the player. JC, our Lord and Savior, is above average at everything and heavily rewards good execution with sizable damage. In Aftermath, he received some small nerfs, but don't let the naysayers dictate your opinion. JC is still an extremely potent force to be reckoned with. Johnny Cage is recommended for players of all skill levels looking to get into an extremely well-rounded character, capable of doing just about everything quite well, with just a couple poor matchups. Joker, the clown prince of crime, makes his way into Mortal Kombat 11 from Injustice. He plays quite different than previous iterations of himself. He's got a big pimp cane that gives his moveset some super potent range to whiff punish and fish for hits on his opponents. Joker also has a lot of tricks up his sleeve, perfect for a clown. His jack-in-the-boxes can be utilized in many ways to set up plus frames or to blow up a button-happy opponent, often leading to favorable trades for the Joker. His crushing blows are honestly easy to load up and get going, and they hurt. Joker has solid screen control with his projectiles and boxes, one of the best down 2s for a reliable anti-air, sizable conversions, as every starter can go into an amplified Bird Boy beatdown. This character is often seen at the top of high-level play tier lists. The Joker comes highly recommended to players who want a free-form character with a creative play style that rewards setups, ingenuity, and excellent space control. Kabal, the Black Dragon Hooksword Speedmaster, is as strong as ever after his return from Mortal Kombat 9. He has 3 solid variations, an entire string and normals list that are all safe. Kabal takes low risk to swing at his opponents. His back 1-2 string is far-reaching, making it perfect for whiff punishes. Kabal has access to high fireballs and an air fireball for basic zoning to cover his approach or keep an opponent away. Most moves in his repertoire are decently fast, and he does have a 9-frame mid-check. Every hit can lead to a Nomad Dash for extended combo damage. He doesn't have too much in the way of high-low mix-ups, having to be in certain variations to gain access to meaningful lows, but this does not hold Kabal back. Aftermath also gave Kabal the ability for hook grab to break armor and crushing blow for doing so. This character has been slept on for a while, but it's becoming more apparent than ever that Kabal is a force to be reckoned with. Kabal is highly recommended for players who want to seamlessly transition from defense to a safe, calculated offense with an emphasis on spacing and stagger pressure. Kano, the dirtbag rascal criminal, is capable of a variety of playstyles in Mortal Kombat 11. He is a very free-flowing character that rewards creativity. He's got annoying lows, a standing overhead, a solid knife projectile, and access to a Molotov cocktail that when set up can burn your opponents alive while they try desperately to get out of the dire straits they find themselves in. Kano is a versatile character who thrives on opponent hesitation, built through staggers. He has variations with combo extension or variations for setups, so the player is free to explore and adapt to each situation accordingly. Kano is recommended for players looking for a free-form, jack-of-all-trades character with an emphasis on pressure and lockdown. Kitana, the Princess of Outworld, is a ruler in neutral as she has access to many staggers and a potent projectile game. All 3 of her variations make Kitana formidable in different ways, whether it's combo extension, frame traps, or a low fireball for extra mix. She has options at nearly all spacings, as from far away she can throw fans, and from mid-range she has far-reaching normals like back 2 to check her opponent's approach, leaving Kitana with decisions to make at all times. All but one of her strings are safe, though there are a few spots where Flawless Block can leave her open, but these can be played around with staggers. Kitana can continually condition her opponent with her many options to keep the opponent's defense honest. Kitana is recommended for players looking for a flexible, jack-of-all-trades character with an emphasis on safety and stagger pressure. Kollector, the Naknandan Relic Extraordinaire, is a newcomer to Mortal Kombat 11 and boasts some incredible range thanks to his chain and green flame normals, all of which are disjointed hitboxes, allowing Kollector to avoid trades completely in certain scenarios. Kollector has access to a teleport, a command grab, and a bola for combo extension, earning him Campbell's chunky damage. His anti-airs are above average, and he has access to several staggers, making his offensive and defensive options more than solid. Kollector can box in his opponent with his large hitboxes, and once the opponent is hesitating, open up his command grab option, which enables him to completely ignore the opponent's guard. Kollector is highly recommended for players looking for a character with exceptional offensive options with an emphasis on restricting the opponent's movement. Kotal Kahn, the Aztec Sun Lord, is back from MKX, and yes, he can transform into a big kitty. So damn fluffy. But I digress. Kotal Kahn has seen significant changes since his release. He is in a good spot. Huge damage conversions, enormous range on his normals such as forward 2, unblockable setups, totem buffs, decent anti-airs, scumming people out with sun rays, and an easy input mid-command grab. Kotal can struggle in certain matchups to get in on his opponent or to keep them in the corner where he truly shines. But overall, Kotal does so much and he is well focused and fun. Kotal Kahn is perfect for players who like big boy damage, huge threat ranges, and don't mind doing some hard work to get in on opponents, or maybe you just like praising the sun. Kung Lao, the hat-slinging Shaolin monk, is a potent rushdown character, having access to many staggers, frame traps, and easy ways to stay on offense. Kung Lao is relentless in offense and still has zoning available through the use of his hat. Kung Lao boasts sizable combo damage through his extension options and gained a solid armor break on his dive kick and aftermath. He can also access a teleport or his powerful Z-Hat special for even more pressure. Kung Lao can struggle against other rushdown characters or heavy zone, often having to rely on a well-timed teleport or patiently approaching. Kung Lao is highly recommended to players who value strong rushdown, oppressive offense, frame traps, and set play. Liu Kang, the fire-infused Shaolin monk hero, is exceptionally strong, holding a host of the best crushing blows in the game. Additionally, he has a 9-frame mid-check, very good frame data, some of the best specials in the game, Flying Dragon Kick, Fireball, and Low Fireball, and his bicycle kicks, keeping opponents grounded, making breakaway inaccessible. Liu Kang has amazing stagger pressure, solid anti-air options, and 3 variations that are all competitively viable. High-level players often place Liu Kang in the top 5 of tier lists, and with the aforementioned laundry list of strengths, it's easy to see why. Liu Kang is a perfect fit for players looking for a super well-rounded character capable of shifting from defensive zoning to strong, offensive stagger pressure to load up devastating crushing blows. Nightwolf, the Great Spirit-blessed Matokan Shaman, is back from Mortal Kombat 9, featuring premier anti-zoning tools with a reflector in every variation, on top of his bow that either hits high or mid depending on variation. With these aforementioned projectiles and a host of quick advancing mids, along with the ability to extend starters to sizable combo damage, Nightwolf has many tools necessary to claim his enemies for the Matoka. He also has many staggers available to him, which accentuate his throw game, both throws capable of causing crushing blows. While lacking low starters that convert to large damage, this does not prevent Nightwolf from mixing his opponent with timing, throws, and his devastating overhead. Nightwolf is heavily recommended for players looking for a balanced character with an emphasis on counter zoning and stagger pressure. Noob Saibot, the ghost of Bihan, is back from Mortal Kombat 9 and looking spectacular. Noob has a little of everything to offer. Fast mid-check, high damage potential, solid space control tools, and a robust armory of anti-air attacks that will make jumping opponents rethink their approach real quick. Noob excels at mid-screen, but if he finds he's worked an opponent to a corner, his damage is eruptive in nature. Noob has Fireballs, a unique mid-shadow clone who actually tracks jumping opponents to an extent, and in one variation he also has access to Shadow Slide, which is a mid-screen low that can be amplified to be completely safe. Noob is highly recommended for players looking for a low skill floor, high skill ceiling, well-rounded, stylish, jack-of-all-trades character with an emphasis on space control and a host of anti-air attacks. Raiden, the Elder God of Thunder, returns, and after a rough initial reception on his strength, finds himself on the receiving end of several buffs that make the character feel fun and imposing. Raiden has range in spades, not only with his beat stick staff, but with his super far advancing forward 4 knee and forward 2 fist, both of which are special cancelable. Raiden controls space and the sky with his lightning specials, limiting his opponent's movement options and buying himself time to either teleport to find a new angle of attack in his first variation, or his Raijin charge and stall in his second variation for potent pushback on Thunder Slam. Raiden has a standing overhead and a low combo starter, making his mix an ever-present threat. Raiden is perfect for players who are looking to lock down opponents with a free-flowing character that rewards flexibility and smart decision-making. RoboCop, the robot cop, is a guest and newcomer to Mortal Kombat. RoboCop is gifted with a multitude of zoning tools: rockets, guns, flamethrowers, and spike strips. He wants to keep the opponent away, and he is well equipped to do it. While not capable of the same oppressive pressure as Rushdown characters, RoboCop can still get decent damage and establish a space game again after a successful close combat exchange. RoboCop's normals are serviceable but commonly stubby, which is why he brought so many damn guns to a fistfight. RoboCop can struggle to find his ground against mobile characters who have ways around his zone. RoboCop is perfect for players who enjoy zone-based characters with a large array of projectiles and an emphasis on defensive play. Scorpion, the Fire Ninja and face of Mortal Kombat, is an explosive, high-risk, high-reward character with strong stagger pressure and extremely potent whiff punish tools like his back 1 4-string and his teleport, which enables Scorpion to punish whiffs and projectiles easier and harder than any other character in the cast. Scorpion can utilize staggers to enforce a strike throw game, or on a hit confirm, go for some of the highest damaging combos in all of Mortal Kombat 11. He has a standing overhead that conveniently breaks armor and a low combo starter, making your opponent's guard remain vigilant lest they crumble to the Netherrealm infused Spectre. Scorpion's options for full screen are limited, as they are all high and duckable, so Scorpion will have to walk forward or look to bait a projectile to get in on his opponents. Scorpion is perfect for players who want a straightforward, rushdown game plan with an emphasis on stagger pressure and explosive damage earned off of every confirm. Shang Tsung, the deceptive sorcerer, is quite strong in Mortal Kombat 11, having access to both premier zoning tools and many powerful strings that require specific answers from his opponents. Shang Tsung is powerful at all ranges, but especially dangerous at a distance, as he can annoy the opponent with fireballs or his corpse drop overhead. This allows him to constantly chip his opponent as they have to work to approach the sorcerer. Once they are in close, Shang Tsung is no slouch, having access to several staggers and plus on block strings for pressure. He can also take on the form of his opponent, gaining access to their moves for a short time, making him all the more versatile. Shang Tsung is recommended to players who want a highly versatile character with an incredible matchup chart and an emphasis on defensive play. Shao Kahn, the Emperor of Outworld, is a big body with incredible range and outrageous damage. While he lacks many safe staggers or pressure tools and is often talked of as being one of the weakest characters in Mortal Kombat 11, Shao Kahn can keep his opponents at a hammer's distance through the use of his oppressive normals, and once he's got the opponent right where he wants them, he can turn any mistake or whiff from the opponent into monstrous conversions. His punishment is not the greatest, as his jab is a frame slower than average and can sometimes be low profiled. Shao Kahn can also struggle against characters who operate outside of his hammer's reach, but he does have one of the better armor break specials and access to a projectile that knocks down on hit, allowing Shao Kahn to close the distance on characters, keeping him out. Shao Kahn is highly recommended to players who enjoy easy-to-play, fun, big boy characters, want to heavily punish their opponents' mistakes, and watch their opponents melt from 2 or 3 clean hits. Sheeva, the Shao Kahn Queen, is a strong neutral bully, having access to options such as her dragon drop from anywhere on the screen. While this special can be simply backdash or forward dash to escape, one of her variations allows her to aim it, circumventing standard evasion plans. Sheeva is terrifying up close, having access to many tick grab setups, safe strings, and a standing overhead. Sheeva's back forward 4 special breaks armor and when amplified causes a full screen knockdown and a bleed on the opponent, so if they are to move or jump they will start taking damage over time. This can allow Sheeva to lock her opponent's movement down and start dragon dropping, tremoring, or slinging fireballs. Sheeva is recommended to players who want an oppressive lockdown character who rewards hard reads. Sindel, Queen of Outworld, is an absolute neutral powerhouse with some of the best space control tools in the game. Her forward 4 controls the ground space extremely well, and when the string is completed leaves Sindel at -13 but spaced outside of punish range, save for 1 or 2 characters on the roster. Her scream can be amplified to fill up 3/4 of the screen, and despite being grounded, does have an enormous enough hitbox to strike aerial opponents down, allowing Sindel to slow her opponent's approach. Sindel has access to both a low and overhead combo starter. Her forward 2 overhead, while reactable by sharp opponents, is an ever-present threat to keep the opponent's guard changing. Sindel, depending on variation, can gain an overhead flip, a combo extension, an air projectile, or a low projectile, giving her 3 unique and effective variations and playstyles. Overall, Sindel is highly recommended for players who enjoy dominating neutral with superior footsies, having access to simple but effective high-low 50-50 mix-ups, and having the potential to hit explosive high-damage combos. Skarlet, the Blood Mage, is a zone and poke heavy character. She excels at creating a large amount of space for herself with many of her strings, combos, and both throws ending in a full screen knockdown, allowing her to enforce a barrage of blood bullet hell for her opponents to work through. Her forward 4/4 high mid string also enables Skarlet to establish very powerful frame traps and pressure if the opponent does not flawless block the second hit, as it is plus. While her range is great in general, most of her moves outside of basic jabs are slower than average, and she does not have the fastest mid-checks available. However, Skarlet does have access to a parry, a teleport, and a projectile that speed can be controlled, all to create more breathing room for herself depending on her variation. Skarlet can amplify several of her special moves to regain health, and once Skarlet has the life lead, she can control the pace of a match, forcing her opponent to come to her and potentially hang themselves. Overall, Skarlet is highly recommended for players who enjoy a defense-oriented game plan with an emphasis on space control and strong projectiles. Sonya Blade, the original G.I. Jane badass, is a well-rounded character who can take on a variety of playstyles, utilizing her rings at range to harass and pester the opponent, forcing them to come to her, or use her pre-canned mix-ups in her back one string to enforce an overhead low mix-up. Sonya is a threat at most spacings thanks to her drone drop, energy rings, and decent range on her normals. Once the opponent has closed the distance on Sonya, her options are a touch more limited. However, she can utilize a poke or her 10-frame mid to check opponents after successfully blocking, to start working on her opponent's health bars once more. Sonya is recommended for players who want a well-rounded fireball character with an emphasis on zoning and simple to employ string-based 50-50 mix-ups. Spawn. The Dark Horse Comics caped anti-hero is a space control-oriented character, having access to some of the furthest reaching normal attacks, such as his 3-4 or forward 2-1 strings. Any combo starter Spawn hits an opponent with will lead to terribly enormous damage. Spawn has solid offensive options at nearly every range, making him a threat no matter where this Necro Demon is on the screen. From Necro Burst fireballs to long chains to harass your opponent with, Spawn has the range. Spawn has several unsafe moves, and it can be risky to commit to full strings, such as his back 1-2 mid overhead string. But if used to whiff punish, as the rest of his tools, it will lead to huge, oppressive damage. Overall, Spawn is highly recommended to players who enjoy a strong, neutral-focused game with an emphasis on pokes and options at every range of play. Or if you're a huge Spawn fan, of course. Sub-Zero. The Ice Ninja is a Vortex mix-up oriented character focused on utilizing his back 3 low combo starter and his forward 2 19-frame overhead combo starter to implement a 50-50 mix-up that only the sharpest of opponents can react to. Sub can freeze his opponent for combo extension or side switches and gets decent damage with minimal resources. His slide is a half-screen low that always has a presence in neutral, and since it's fast, it can be utilized as a reversal punish to punish moves many cast members cannot punish due to pushback. Sub-Zero does not have a lot of fast mids, and instead utilizes high starting strings or back 3 to control space in neutral. His ice ball hits high, so his options for full screen are limited. Forward 4 is a slow running mid that leaves Sub-Zero at advantage for follow-up pressure. Sub-Zero is absolutely perfect for players of all skill levels looking for a rushdown character with simple and effective mix-up tools, space control tools such as Ice Ball and Slide, and solid combo potential. The Terminator is a Vortex mix-up oriented character. This cold machine has the potential to safely go low, overhead, or go for a command grab for sizable damage in an Okizeme scenario that lets him restart the process ad nauseum until his human opponents are extinct and Skynet reigns supreme. He has a slow but serviceable projectile with his shotgun. He can run across the screen quickly to cover space with the potential to cancel it. His neutral is so-so at best. While his moves are mostly safe, many of his pokes lack range and can make it very difficult for the Terminator to get his mixing game plan rocking. If your opponent can correctly guess each mix, Terminator will sometimes find himself in disadvantageous and life-threatening positions. Overall, the Terminator is perfect for players who enjoy an offensive-oriented game plan with a strong emphasis on mix-ups, conditioning, and making opponents guess incorrectly at every opportunity. Or if you just love the Terminator. This has been Pencil. Thank you for watching these basic character overviews for Mortal Kombat 11. I love fighting games of all kinds, among other things, and plan on creating more content over time. Please smash the like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. And I hope everyone has an amazing day. Thank you for joining me. Oh, and before I forget, I'd like to really give a big thank you to Ed Boon and NRS for making Mortal Kombat, and to Sonic Fox and other high-level players I featured in this video who are always such an inspiration for others and myself to watch. If you want to learn the game's finer details or watch high-level sets, I highly recommend checking out Ketchup and Mustard, Shujinky Dink, Rufelmonger, Thunder 1, and Tanjaru. I'll provide links to a ton of resources in the description below. Take it easy, everybody.